Okay. So we're here today with one of our favorite guest speakers, Cindy Hackett, who is going to be talking to you today about posting on your company Facebook page. Cindy is our resident expert on everything digital, and we use her a lot. So without further ado, Cindy Hackett.
Thank you, Kathy. Hope I live up to those expectations. Do I sleeping here with that? Okay, awesome.
It takes a nap after a while.
Yeah, I figured I got to be a little bit more active here. Welcome everybody. I'm glad you're here. We're gonna let me get my page full screened here. Might help when we get it going. You guys have copies of my handout, and might be kind of a small print, so it might be a little challenging, but I hate wasting too much paper, so I told her to put as many slides as would fit on one page, but it'll at least give you the working knowledge that we're going to go through this. If for some reason you actually want a digital copy of this, you can just let me know, and my email is on the back, last page. Email me and ask me for one, and I'll send it to you. It might be a little bit more helpful. You'd actually see that. And here we go. Okay, thank you. Okay, so perfect. And I had to put new batteries in my little thingy here, so let me see. Aha! Okay, here we go. So we're going to talk about posting on your company page. I wanted to go around and talk to everybody this morning as much as possible, since we have, we have a medium-sized group, which is awesome. But it seems like everybody is involved in posting or going to be involved with their organization or their company page, which is perfect for you then to be here. And if you have not ever been on Facebook, you can raise your pinky, maybe not be too embarrassed. Everybody's been on there, so everybody's familiar. Okay, that's good, because it's very hard to teach a class to have one or two people that have never ever been on that platform before, because they tend to get lost. But if you've been on it and you're familiar, then also, while we're talking, we're just chatting. I'm just kind of going to keep pouring stuff out, and if I move too fast or you want to stop me and have a question on something, just stop me. That's kind of the way I like to do it. I'd rather address something right then while we're kind of discussing it versus at the end of it, and then maybe have to back up. And so let's move along here. I wanted to write some tips, and this is like stuff from the top of my head when I was sitting here putting this presentation together. And because I run 10 different, I'm a marketing consultant, so, and I have a lot of experience just with marketing and social media, and I've worked for companies such as Eastman Chemical Company, and then right down to small. I've worked with a couple of realtors. I have one now that I work with who's in Georgia, and then I work with insurance companies, and I teach at Millie College. I teach LinkedIn classes there to the students, and so LinkedIn is really my forte. I am all about LinkedIn, but I do social media posting and keep up with Facebook because of the need out there. It really wasn't something that I really wanted to do. Like I said, I was kind of focusing more on LinkedIn, but it has become apparent to all of us, and it should be apparent to you, and at least it will be when we get done with this class, if it's not now, that every single business needs to be on Facebook. And it really doesn't even matter what your business is. And it was interesting walking around and talking to people. So, we have a hotel, we have a lot of nonprofit organizations, we have an individual realtor, we have a church. This is, then we've got a couple of nonprofits over here. This is a great example, a cross-section, let's talk about that, of people from different industries, different walks of life, who really maybe not have a lot in common otherwise, except for the fact that they realize and value being on Facebook is, can bring to them. So it's important. And so you're already halfway there. A lot of people are, well, I don't even know why I need to be on there, So, you're on there so that people can go to Google and search for you and find you. And you're on there so that people can see your updates and see what's going on with your company and see what you're about. The other thing that I'm really big on, and this is from a marketing standpoint, is branding. I am all about branding your company, your organization, or yourself. And when I talk about branding, a lot of people immediately think of a logo, and logo is a really important part of branding. But what you do with your company. So for instance, when I'm approached by a company and they want me to do their social media for them, let's say just Facebook, for instance. And I like to sit down with them. I like to tour their facility. I like to see what they're about. I like to pick up brochures in their lobby. I go and look at their website before I even meet with them to find out a little bit about them and what they're about. Now, if they're just developing some things, maybe their website's not up to date, or maybe their logo's outdated, or maybe, there's some things. The fact that they want to get on social media and they want to be active on it is usually a really good sign that they're moving into the future for them. So that's really good. In this area, and when I say this area, I actually live in Tennessee. I live in Kingsport, so I do a lot of work down in that area as well. But this whole region, I guess, we're a little bit behind some of the other areas as far as companies wanting to get on social media. So all of you being here is a good sign and a good step. So when you want to brand yourself, you may be branding an organization, or maybe it's an organization that already has a branding, such as United Way, that has a very well-known, active, national, maybe international, or is it just national, presence. So when you say United Way, or you look at her shirt and you see the logo, you instantly are familiar. Habitat for Humanity is sitting next to her. We're all familiar with what they do and the good that they do as well. So their branding comes from a national organization, and what you have to do if you're running a local social media page for them is to stick to that branding, because it's already been laid out and put in stone. They may even have social media. Do you have bylaws and things that you have to?
Yeah, there's a branding guide you have to follow, colors, everything, fonts, everything.
Yeah, and so when you work for a big enough company, not necessarily individual, but it's nice to have branding guidelines, like what she was basically saying, so that you stick to these certain colors for our logo. You would never put certain posts out there that would pertain to even something as simple. Let me give you an example. Cinco de Mayo was recently. There's a lot of organizations, church is one of them, that Cinco de Mayo is celebration of Mexican history. So it's really a historic thing. But you would never do a post for a company that was conservative, or for a church, or that had somebody maybe toasting it with a margarita for Cinco de Mayo. But you could do something else. You could put a little bit about the history of Cinco de Mayo, or you could put a fun, sombrero or something like that, nachos, or how you could twist it, but you would never put a margarita out there, because that would be inappropriate and not appropriate for that brand. So you have to know what the brand is, what they represent, so that you can truly represent them as well. And so here's some of the tips that I like to always do. I like to schedule my posts in advance, and we're going to talk about that in just a little bit, what I mean by that. So there's Facebook has a great component that you can actually go in and you can schedule all your posts in advance, and we'll talk about that. Or you could use a platform such as Buffer, or some Hootsuite, something like that, where you actually put your posts on there ahead of time. And you could do several different mediums. You could do LinkedIn, you could do Instagram, you could do, but they do come with a cost. Those are not free platforms necessarily. Hootsuite might have a free option. Does anybody know if they do? They do?
But it's limited.
Yeah, so every time that I talk about something today that has a free option, understand that free option limits you. It holds your hands back here, basically. Maybe it holds one, because it gives you a little bit of freedom, but it obviously wants you to put the money in to purchase, the whole thing. So you may not have all of the options that you want. I used to use Hootsuite, but it's been a long time, but I use Buffer now. But I will tell you for Facebook, I schedule my posts on Facebook with their publishing tools because I think that their analytics are better, and I like being on that site. It can be a little bit redundant, but I try not to post a lot of the same material for my clients on the different platforms. So if they're on Instagram and they're on Facebook and they're on LinkedIn, I try to do different things, which, but you can schedule that, and we'll talk about that in a second. I also recommend using some type of a graphic design platform. I use Canva. Is anybody familiar with Canva? Canva does have a free option. We'll talk about that in a minute too, a little bit more. I'm a big believer in creating a social media calendar. So I actually gave you guys a couple of little samples in your packets of what a social media calendar could look like. And obviously your organization or your brand might be a little bit different, but there's a lot of websites out there that you can look up different holidays for the month that you can just Google like holidays, and every single day you can have 2 or 3 holidays. You can have, pizza day and this and that, and it can get kind of crazy. But if you own a pizza parlor, you better be doing stuff on pizza day. I was actually in an ice cream store a couple of years ago, and I happened to know it was like National Ice Cream Day just because I'm, keep up with crazy stuff like that, and I had posted some things. And do you know that ice cream shop didn't even know it was National Ice Cream Day? And what an opportunity that they could have taken to do some social media posts, to do some fun things in their store. So, some of these posts that could be applicable to your organization, you should take advantage of. And sometimes it can be a little bit of a stretch, but you could still take advantage of it and have fun with it. We talked about branding and how important it is. Use your company logo on your designs when possible. I'll show you some Canva designs that I've done and how I've managed to be able to stick the logo on them, and that way it brands your logo. If you can use your company website on your post as well, so I like to use a lot of graphics and just a little bit of text, and if you can draw people to your website, to a particular landing page. If you have somebody like a webmaster, maybe you do your page, it'd be nice to be able to bring people to a particular page that maybe refers to that post. So if you're working for, if your company's hiring, for instance, and you do a post on we're hiring this job, it'd be nice to actually put a link to your website that actually goes to your website that maybe has more of the job description, or maybe that's where the job application is held or something. So that makes it a lot easier. People don't like to just click to be random. They want, they want to click and have it go someplace with a reason. I like to use photos of real employees if possible. And then sometimes you can use photos and then a month later somebody's gone and then you're like, oh, I can't use that photo again, or maybe you took it a while ago. And you have to be, mindful of that. And it's always good to ask permission from the employees or get it. You could do a simple little permission. If you're doing an event for Habitat and you're out taking pictures or something, you probably have to have some type of a permission from people to possibly post. Just because you take a picture or just because you're in a picture doesn't mean it's actually going to show up anywhere, but you have to be able to give them the right to use it. So someone can't come back later and say, you used my picture without my permission. So the bigger the organization, the more that would be applicable to. And I'm sure Habitat has forms like that. I think I've even signed them before. Keep your text short. And your picture, let that tell your story. And when I work with people and I look at a post and it's real wordy, you're going to lose people. Even if they put a photo, let your photo tell your story. And then And the other thing you could do is use some hashtags in there, and we're going to talk about hashtags a little bit more because. Do you have a question, Kathy? No. Okay. Because hashtags on Facebook are a little bit different than they are, say, on Instagram. So, does anybody know the difference? Okay, so if you're on Instagram, everybody hashtags all over the place, right? And you're like, man, what is a hashtag? What does that mean? So that kind of shows what's trending. And Twitter's the same way. I don't like Twitter, but you can go up and just search a hashtag and then whatever, it shows what's trending, okay? So on Facebook, when you search for a hashtag, it's not necessarily what's trending. I use the hashtags on Facebook to actually tell part of my story. So, and I'll show you a post in a minute. We'll get off from this, but for example, I actually went to a 4-day class last week where it was a women's carpentry class, and I helped build a tiny home, and I built some furniture that I designed and stuff. So when I was doing my post on Facebook for this table that I had built, I just put, hey, I built this table, but for a hashtag, I put power tools, I used some things, that into my post, you embed that. So you kind of have to be creative with kind of how you want to use it, if you want to use it. On Facebook, you don't have to use hashtags. A lot of people do not. But I like it if it's appropriate to tell kind of a little bit of a story. For a realtor, you could always have a hashtag about, just real estate, or this realtor that I work for in coastal Georgia. She wants her posts to always include coastal living, retirement, because these are her focus. So she always wants hashtags that say that. So no matter what the post is about, those are the focuses that she wants. So it kind of tells a little bit of the story, without having to be too wordy. This is another thing that people struggle with is, it's great to have industry news, it's great to have industry information and about your company, but you gotta make it fun a little bit. And that's where kind of the fun holidays come in, and some of the other things can be thrown in there. Community events, be a big supporter of community events. And, with the nonprofits that are in this room, so, like if I were you, I would be getting their cards and I would be making sure that I follow their pages. So when I see things that are going on with United Way, I would share it on my part, that way it shows you being a supporter of the community. And there's a lot of nonprofits in this room that as a for-profit, you could help support and share their content. We always love it when people share the content. And use photos that are legal to use. There's a lot of copyrights on photos. You can't just go to Google Images and pull one. So we're going to talk about some other things that we could use. Any questions? All right. So I told you we're going to talk about Facebook scheduling. So use the advanced scheduling tool. I'm going to pull up Facebook and I'm going to show you it. The analytics are very, very helpful. They actually will show you when you dive into it, like how many people on your page are male, female, what's the best time to post, things like that, and how often to post. That's one of the questions I get all the time. And I think I always look at it individually, but if the old school of posting even 2 and 3 times a day, I think it's kind of gone by the wayside. I mean, which I am so happy about, but there are people who still do it, and you know what happens? I unfollow those people. I may still like their page, but I drop down and I unfollow so I don't have to see their posts 2 and 3 times a day just about their company, Really? It gets to be too much. So I typically will sit down with a business owner or marketing person and we'll decide the frequency of the posts. But typically, 2 to 3, maybe 4 times a week And then we look at the scheduling and when people are really looking at it, that's really important. We'll pull that up and so this is the trick. Everybody could be different in this room. Don't post too much and don't post too little because they'll forget about you. So you've got to find that happy median somewhere. So let's look at this. Let me pull up the Facebook. I've got some things. Okay, so here we are. So those of you who are on Facebook and you're familiar, you know that you go over here and click down and you can find your pages. So your pages, oh, what happened? Do we have to switch something?
It's usually on your laptop. So it'll show double.
Huh?
On your laptop, it should be fixed so it'll show double screen.
Okay, you're gonna have to help me because I have no idea what you're talking about. Is it blue?
PowerPoint's up, right?
Yeah, but I want to leave it up.
Okay.
Seems like I had this problem before when I wanted to switch back and forth and it wouldn't let me. I'm sorry. Because ideally I'd like to go and actually show you and then we could go back, to the, or we could just stay on this. Will it let me switch back and forth, Jennifer, or should I just pull up?
It may let you switch back and forth, so let's see here.
Because we could just follow through, I could get a hard copy of my presentation and then just stay on the internet.
Now the internet is, or Mavis is done.
Let me get a hard copy of my presentation and we can get on the internet, I'll just stay on there.
All right.
Is there a copy? Is there an extra copy? If you just get me on the internet and this is a station break. We'll do an advertisement if you need to go to the bathroom or intermission. Anybody have food left over to share?
I'm sorry.
See, if you'd had fries, we could have just passed them around.
You're on. You're on something.
Yeah, I'm still on.
Yeah.
We're if I could do a tap dance, or if I had a dog and a pony with me, we could do this. So I do appreciate y'all coming out in the rain. I was laughing when I got here that last time I was here, it was snowing. Was anybody in that class? That was it like a month ago or 2 months? It was.
Like 6 weeks? Or
It was snowing like crazy, and I thought no one would be here, and we had a full class. We had more people than this. I thought they were crazy. I was like, I would have stayed home.
What's a compliment to you?
I thought, well, either that or they got cabin fever, right? They had to
Here you
get
go.
out. Thank you, dear. Okay.
So it's still behind there, so all you have to do is just maximize it, and then you can just minimize it when you don't want to go back to your
And my screen is black, though. Why is my screen black? That's going to mess me up because I'm going to. Don't we love live?
social media person, is it challenging to keep up with all the different changing trends in Facebook and all the different like algorithms and stuff like that? How are you able to tell people like the latest way?
That's a really good question she just had, keeping up with all, social media is constantly changing. And so just because you're taking this class now doesn't mean that you don't ever have to take another Facebook class. Everything could be completely different in a few weeks or a month or, a year. That one of the things that I do is I'm a member of a lot of organizations that are marketing related, and so I get a lot of emails and updates. And so, for instance, on LinkedIn, I'm a behind the scenes kind of member of a LinkedIn training group that LinkedIn provides us with some things that are going on, because they've been going through a lot in the last couple of years with being bought by Microsoft. And none of them are really good about announcing their changes. You log in one day and sometimes you go, wow, why does my screen look so different? It happens that quick. And what happens then, everybody pushes back, like, oh, it's all different again, But the other thing is, not only keep up with the changes, but keep up with how all your settings are done. For every single one of you guys, when you set up your profile for your personal and for your company, make sure your settings are set up the way you want it and should be. I can show you a little bit about that, but so important. So what we had started to talk about was when you log into Facebook, when you run pages, it's over there it's up here. This drop down are the pages that you run. So that's an easy way to get to them. And then you can just click on them and go to that page. I always suggest for you to have more than one admin on your page, or at least somebody else who can help. People get sick, people quit, people get mad. There's a lot of things that happen, and I've seen it all, where people have only had one person that could get in, and that person got mad, or that person passed away even, and when that kind of stuff happens, it's a mess to try to get it. Usually the recommendation is for them to start over again. And if you've got a lot of people who are already following your page, and all that is pretty much gone. So more than one person, dual control. Okay, so I run this page for the Boys and Girls Club of Johnson City and Washington County. I'm on their board of directors, so part of my contribution is to run their Facebook page. So when I came on board, they had a Facebook page, which was great, but nobody was owning it. I'm a big believer of somebody owning it. So you have somebody responsible for doing the posts. Even, and Al and I had we had this conversation where he's the owner of the company. He should have somebody running that page, but he needs to be familiar with it and make sure that he's on there at least several times a week, seeing what's being posted, liking what's being posted, monitoring it. So when you want to post ahead of time, when you log in, you can go right up to your publishing tools up here. And then your publishing tools, when they come up, has all of your posts. If you look, it's got all your posts that have been already scheduled. It says when they were scheduled, when they posted, and then it has what the post is, your reach. All of these are organic. So when I say that, it means nothing was paid or pushed or promoted or sponsored. And I'm not against that. I just don't believe in doing it a lot, especially since I've only been doing this page for a couple of months. So I'm really kind of like, for the first 6 months, love to just kind of organically get things out there and invite my friends. This is a little bit different than a normal client, because I'm on the board of directors for the Boys and Girls Club. So have a passion for it, and I believe in it. And so I push it out to my friends and family and say, hey, will you please like our page and things like that too. Now, if I was doing it as a client, I probably wouldn't do that. That would be up to the employees of the company, the owner of the company to push it out there. But when it's a nonprofit, a lot of people will go on. So this gives you a list of everything that was posted. So Anil, this is the kind of thing that I want you to be familiar with, to be able to go on here and see what was published, what your reach was, who's seeing it. So you can actually go in and see even further into that post.
So Cindy, the publishing tools doesn't show up on a bar on the phone.
I don't ever publish anything from the phone.
So that's from a laptop or
It may be on there, but there are so many mistakes that can happen on the phone, so that's a really good question. If I were you and you're publishing and you're working, you need to invest in a laptop. Don't do it on an iPad and do not do it on a phone. Invest in a laptop, and there are times where I may have things scheduled, and on my phone, I think it does show up because I've been able to change things from my phone. Are you an admin on it, on that page? Okay, well,
I know sometimes when I go to publish, it'll say publish now, later, things like that, but I
Yeah.
don't really.
I've had to download a Pages app or something that I go to.
did you hear what she said, Kathy?
have that too.
But I know I've been able to change things from my phone for something I've had scheduled. I had somebody say, oh, can you wait and post that tomorrow, when it was about a certain event or something. So then I had to go in on my phone because I wasn't at home and remove it from the schedule and change it. So you can do a lot on your phone, but as far as the actual publishing, I like to do it from my laptop. I like to do the design, the publishing, all of that, because I feel a lot more secure. But you can look at your performance on your posts just by clicking on from that publishing tool, and you can look and see what's going on, and you've got a few clicks, and you've got some likes and some shares on that. If you wanted to, so let's, I told you that these are organic posts, which is what I do prefer. But if you really are trying to, you don't mind spending a little bit of money or wanting to do something, and you like that post or you think that's a good one, you can actually click this and you can boost your post. So when you boost a post, you're going to spend a little bit of money. You've got to have a credit card in there, and it's not very expensive. You can boost something for $10, and you can get more reach with it. You can, yes.
Where does it actually go? I mean, like if you boost a post, how do you?
Into the cloud. No, you get to pick. You actually target your audience. So let me see what happens when I click on this. Okay, so I don't want to go too far because I don't want to boost this post, because I have a credit card in here. But so I have to be careful with this. But so you can look at your engagements and who you want. Here you go. Here we go. This is exactly what I wanted. So so to answer your question, we can choose over here. Who are we looking for? You hit the edit button, and you can choose who you want to target. It's an age demographic. You can do it by female, male. You can do it by employment. There's all kinds of. I know they've changed it a little bit, but you can still pretty much dive down. So if I wanted to create a new audience, I could do that as well. And here we go. So we would name it. We would say who. What my age range is. Do I want to stick in Tennessee? Do I want to add different states? So with you having a church, for instance, you may want to include people. You may notice you have a certain demographic that come to your church. And what kind of church was it?
We're Lutheran.
Lutheran. So you could even dive down here to add demographics about religion, Lutheran. You can put things like that and browse the subjects and see what comes in. You could do it within a geographical area. So, because people, if they find a good church that they want to go to, they'll travel to go to that church, or they're lazy like me and they just want to go in their neighborhood. But, but if somebody has a particular Lutheran faith and they want to find your church, so sometimes it's good to reach out a little bit, maybe go a 50-mile radius, or, same way with any other type of real estate's another good example, because your reach, you don't know how many people might be wanting to relocate to this area. So your reach could be a little bit further, and I actually used to do marketing for tourism and economic development. So one of the studies that we used to do is try to find out who would be visiting our area, and then with thinking that they may want to move there in the future. So, you could just, as you're, and I'm one of these crazy people, I'll tell you, I get rambling on stuff, but I have a marketing, I cannot stop my marketing mind. I have to like take melatonin at night to shut down, because I'm like, oh, I gotta do this. But if I were you, I'd be driving around looking at the different license plates from different states and be going, ooh, I saw 4 Florida license plates today. Maybe I should target some things in Florida, because I'm from Florida. People in Florida don't like to stay in Florida forever. Nobody's from Florida. They're all from New York. They move to Florida and then they move halfway back, and halfway back is like North Carolina, Tennessee. They love this area. So my family loves an opportunity to come to Tennessee because it's so different for them. So you might want to target some, and they all want the vacation homes or summer homes to get out of that heat. So you could have a whole different. And everybody in here would pretty much have a different demographic. You guys might be kind of similar, but you would be different because you would be into manufacturing. So if you want to boost your posts, that's how simple it is. And you just put a credit card in there. It's not that expensive. If you want to test it out, I tell you just to put $10 in there and just test it. And then just see. And then you get all the analytics about that being boosted. So when you've been on Facebook before, have you seen posts that say they're sponsored?
I have.
That's what that exactly is. And everybody has seen that, right? Has anybody sponsored or boosted a post themselves? Of course you have. You've done it. Have you had success?
Yes.
So, did you raise your hand? And what did you boost?
We just had, anytime we have events, we just had an event on April the 28th, and we boosted a video that, was promoted.
And you boosted it to promote the event, and also did you track the number of likes and
Yes.
follows on your page?
We called the analytics of it, but it was to primarily get people to purchase tickets.
Okay, and I'm sure it helped, because then you can target it on your demographic, and it goes out to the people who will probably be interested in your event. Yeah, so it's actually a great thing to do. I wouldn't do it all the time, but when you have things like this, that's a great reason to use it. A great reason to use it. If somebody has an announcement, a big announcement with their company, or if you're just kind of testing the waters, just do it. If you spend $10, you spend $10. That's it. It's actually a really good experience. I would tell you to try it and then and see how it works. And you have to have an end goal in mind. That's the other thing. You can't just do it. Say, let's see what happens. Have a goal. Let's say we want to. We're at 35 likes on our page now. We want to bring it to 50 and see if something like that helps. And you can track it and see. So kind of have an end goal and see if it helps. If it helps and you get your 50, you may want to do it in a couple months later and say, well, this time we're going to try to boost it to 70. And you don't have to have an outrageous goal, but you can keep it simple and still achieve it with like $10, $15, $20. Any other questions on this? Oh, I'm going to cancel my promotion. What happens too, I will tell you that whenever I go in and do this, it will be hounding me all day long to say, hey, you didn't finish your promotion, you didn't finish your promotion. It'll be popping up on my phone and everything. I'll be going, go away. But y'all are worth it, so that's the sacrifice I'm doing. So the other thing, did you guys know you could do this? So on your page, if you got likes, you can actually click on that and see who's liked it, which is actually a really neat thing. And if you noticed, I like this. I like all of my posts. So somebody said to me one time when I was training them, I said, how come you don't like liking your own post after you post it? Like it as your business and then like it as yourself. And they're like, well, why would I do that? And I'm like, well, if you don't like it, why should anyone else like it? I mean, think about it. It's like kind of like when you go to the polls and you're voting and you were running for something, Miss Mayor back there. I mean, wouldn't you vote for yourself, right? So if you don't like it and you're not willing to promote it, but that just makes common sense to me.
You should share it on your own personal page too.
It depends on the post. I wouldn't say share everything, but if there's an event coming up or there's something once a week or so, maybe say, I'm going to share this post. Or, if you did it all the time, your friends might be like, oh, she's killing me. But I think once in a while it's perfectly okay because you want them to associate you with that organization too. So it's actually a good thing. So as you go through here, see you can look and pick out. This is what I think is one of the most interesting things on things that have already posted. So, we're moving along here and we're just kind of starting this Facebook page and it's kind of slow and it's kind of da-da-da. All of a sudden you look at this one and it's got a huge reach on it. So it's always good to look and see why, what was special about this one. Well, what was special about this one was because we were doing a fundraiser. And if you guys haven't found, and they just opened up in Johnson City, and they have a whole program for doing fundraisers, where when you go in, you mentioned, after you order, you say, I want to give my donation, and they give, I can't remember how much it was. It might have been like 30% of their day's proceeds if you mentioned. A lot of companies are doing that now, a lot of restaurants. And so find those restaurants that might help support you for a day. Or, I think it's a great way for them to see this was the thing. So this was why this one was so popular. It went to 760 people, and we had 6 likes, but we had 5 shares. 5 shares went to 700 people organically. None of that was money paid. So you see the value in just sharing things like that. So, if you share it on your page when there's something going up, and then your mom, your sister, you ask them to share it, your best friend, your husband, whatever, how will you share that? That's just a couple of shares to different people that you didn't have. So that's important, and it can go a long way. Remember, no money was spent on this either, so that's a pretty big reach. And you can still look at all of your likes and comments and reaches and stuff. So it's good. So this is what I like to do. I like to go through here and see. Certain times of day might be better, certain days of the week might be better, but you don't always want to overanalyze it. Sometimes it's more about the post itself than it is anything else. Maybe the picture grabs somebody, I did a post for a client a couple years ago, and it was for an insurance company, but it was National Dog Day, some National Dog something. And I got the idea a couple weeks ahead of time when I was doing my social media calendar, when I was scheduling my stuff. I go, National Dog Day is coming up. I want to use this, even though insurance has nothing really to do with dogs, right? But I sent out an email to the people in the company, and I said, if you have a picture of your dog you'd like to share, I want to do a post for social media. And I had like 20 or 30 people send me pictures of their dogs. People are funny with their dogs, just like they are with their children. They always want to share it, right? And so I had all these pictures, and I put them into a really cute little post, like a little grid kind of thing, and put Happy National Dog Day from the name of the insurance company. And then I put all of the dogs up there. That post went crazy because everybody was proud that their dog was on Facebook as part of this. So all of those 30 people shared it, all of those 30 people liked it, and then their kids and husbands and wives, and so again, it was something really simple, and it had nothing to do with insurance, but that was probably the most successful. So it kind of shows, I want to do business with them, because I'm a dog lover myself, and they obviously are, love dogs too, maybe they do, maybe they don't, I don't know, but for that particular day, that their branding and their image was that it did, and I put their logo at the bottom of it, and so every time it got shared, it not only showed where it came from, but it also had their logo on it, which is another little thing that's important. Okay, so let's look at your scheduled post. So this is how you schedule a post. We'll do one actually. We'll kind of go through the steps of doing one. So you can see I've got this one scheduled for May 19th at 7:50 a.m. and it's about Armed Forces Day, and which is Saturday. So and then on May 21st, I've got the next one in May. So I post on this one every couple of days. It's not. I mean, we were doing nothing. So that's the other thing. If you're taking over or starting one, don't just go full force out there and do 2 or 3 posts a day or even 1 post a day. It may be just too much. People are like, whoa, I mean, just kind of step back. You can look at your analytics and see what's important to you, and you've got to build your followers to your page, and you don't want to do it with overkill, and but yet at least every other day try to post something. You guys doing a church, have you ever done anything like on Sunday, do a certain Sunday scripture? And I do a hashtag Sunday scripture for so I work for a religious religious nonprofit organization that I do some posts for, and every Sunday I do a post for them with a hashtag Sunday scripture, and then have the I just made that up. It isn't like anything that's out there going viral, but you guys could certainly use that too. I give you permission to use that. But you could do do you do your post pretty on a graphic design program, or do you just put the?
A little bit of both.
Okay, let me show you what I'm talking about. So here's one. This was National Prayer Day and this is in Canva. I created this in Canva in about 5 minutes. So you can get your graphics and your stuff, and then put your wording in there, and then throw your logo on there. And then when you save it, you download it, and then you can still put your text at the top and make your text Sunday scripture. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Do this one. So hold on. It's not loading. So it's in that way every Sunday you can post way ahead of time and have those so like here's one that I did for Mother's Day. Now this particular organization doesn't have like a logo, so there won't be any logo on their but this person is an author and wrote a book, so I always do a book quote, like something from their book with the graphics on it. And I wanted to look. Okay, here's the Sunday scripture, for instance. So on the text, that's all I wrote was Sunday scripture, and then did a graphic, and then Sunday scripture. So that's simple. And then you could post those ahead of time every Sunday.
So I saw that when you were on that boys and girls page, you had Wednesday wisdom hashtag.
Yeah.
So is that similar?
Yeah, they're kind of fillers. So when I'm doing my social media calendar, if you look at that, if I need fillers, you can do a motivational Monday hashtag. You can do a Wednesday with wisdom. You can do Sunday scripture if you're a religious organization. You could come up with your own, like manufacturing Monday. Something really that has nothing to do with anything except for, that would be a cute one.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm full of them. I'm usually full of other things too, but you know what I mean? Like you could make that fun and then just post something about manufacturing industry. Or highlight a particular manufacturer for that Monday, Manufacturing Monday. Here's our highlight, you know. So, you know, you make it the way it'll fit your program. It's gonna be different and it's gonna be unique than hers and the stuff that I do. But you can use enough of it where you can make it work for you. Does that make sense? Like, so if you don't have a Manufacturing Monday or you don't have anything that would, you know, that you can really think of, or if you want to run something by me and say, this is what I do, and you know, maybe we can come up with something that would kind of work for you. It doesn't have to be that catchy. I actually like that one, and if you don't use it, I'm going to be so mad at you. Hope you wrote it down.
I have one more question about back when you were in Canva.
Let's go back to Canva.
Design did you choose? Like, I have trouble with the layouts in there. Like,
Do you have a paid account?
No.
Yeah, that's probably so, you know, they have a free option for Canva.
So do you choose Facebook posts?
Yeah, I usually do social media, unless I'm doing a collage, then I'll do a photo collage. So her question was, when you log in and you want to create a design, you know, what do you choose on here? So you just look at what will be appropriate for, and it's all done according to pixels. So sometimes I'll be working on something and none of these fits. So then I do a custom design up here and you just put the pixels in there and it'll fit. So if you're doing, one thing I really like about this is it'll do your headers for you too. So if you want to change your cover for your Facebook business page, you can put the exact dimensions you need in here and then it'll just fit it right in there, and then you can throw your design in there and it already has it sized.
How often do you change your cover image?
Probably not often enough. Does anybody change theirs a lot? Their cover photo?
No, because I have a hard time getting it to fit.
Well, this is how you can do it. Yeah, so if you don't remember what the size is, because I don't remember it offhand, you just go Facebook cover photo size. This is how simple it is. And then you can say, okay, so it's 851 by 315, okay? That says for desktop, or 640 by 360 for mobile. So we'll go in between the two. I'm gonna write both of these down. So, and you can't discount mobile, because most of us look on our phone, right? How you create it and what, okay, so then you go into Canva and you say custom design, and then you just do, so I'll do something in between. I'll do like 700. And then if I can ever get there, but this is basically how you do it. Let's just do it this way. And then we'll do 360. Let's do we'll do 315 for there. So it's already at pixels, and then you hit design, and it's going to already size it for you. So here's my size that I already need for it. That was pretty simple. So now I just got to throw if you want to do, there are images. You can search. So let's find something. Let's just do rain since today's rainy. So then you find on Canva. This is one of the least things I like about Canva. I have a paid account, but I still sometimes have to buy a photo. I'm sorry to stand in your way. That really irritates the stew out of me. I don't know about y'all, but if you have a paid account, it should be, which is why I use other ones too. So this is another one that I love to use. Does anybody use Pixabay? Pixabay, I guess. So this is free. This is free. So you can look up rain, and you can grab a photo from that. So, and I just think that's kind of cool, it's raindrops, right? I don't know what I'm designing, but say we have a goal in mind here. I'm gonna download this photo, and we're gonna throw it in there. Okay, so we're gonna put it on my desktop. And we're gonna save it to the desktop. And then we're gonna go back to this is our blank design, remember? And so we're gonna upload that photo. And I'm gonna go, here it is. So it's uploading right here, and we're gonna throw it right here. And then we're just gonna size it to fit and here you go. You instantly have your background photo. And then you can put text over that if you choose. You can put your logo on there. So this is really cool what they do too. If you want to do some fancy text, you can, you can change this, We could change it to anything we wanted to, but it's going to keep that same basic look about it. So it looks more professional than you just typing out the words. And if you want to throw a logo on there, let me find one real quick. Let's see, these are all my graphics in here. So here's a realtor. And none of these have anything to do with each other, if you understand that. I'm just trying to show you for quickness. I don't like that. But anyway, you kind of have the idea of how simple it is. So I basically just designed something in just a matter of a few minutes, maybe a couple seconds. This would not be put out there, obviously, but you could take your logo, put it in the corner of something, and then you've got your Facebook new cover. So the question that you asked was, how often do you, ideally, every quarter it should be changed. It'd be nice to do something seasonal. That's why I say, for the fall, do something. Spring, you can do something. If you want to do it more than that, that's fine. If there's an event coming up, change it then. The holidays. Just don't forget. That's the other thing, is to change it. Isn't it annoying to go on someone's page and they haven't changed it, and it was, it's February and they've still got their Christmas thing up there. You're like, woo, okay, get with it. And you tend to lose interest don't you? If you think, well, they're not even paying attention. So so that's the other thing, is to be on top of it. And there is a way on Facebook to temporarily change things too, with a date, and then it'll change back to the old one afterwards if you did want to. So that's a good feature. Anybody have any questions on how this was done? I know we did it really fast, but this is how easy it is in something like Canva, that you find your photo, put it up there, size it, and
have a lot of trouble with this, now this is just enlightening to me, because when
I saw a light bulb over there.
It's brighter in this corner, because when you create an event, or even when I create an event, and I have to create several, because we have some every month, and I'm looking for pictures that will fit in that thing, and then I go in and make put the graphics in the middle of the dog's eyes, so that it's going to fit. And I could have been doing this all along, but with an event, you don't have as much control over moving that around.
Well, and you can bring this up too, if you needed to not cover certain things, and then and when you're done with this, if I were done, I would download it. And I always download all of my designs as a PNG. That's just what I prefer. It gives you different options on here, but and then I like a transparent background. If you don't have a logo and a transparent background, if you've got a logo, you need to get one, and you may need to have a graphic designer do that for you. But that will allow you, how I put this logo on here, and it doesn't have a white background. That's because it's got a transparent, that's the format. And if you don't understand how that is, I can explain a little bit to you. I'm not a graphic designer, but it would be valuable for you to pay a graphic designer to put it in a format where it has a transparent background. Because here's one that has a transparent background that, there's a lot of logos in here for different, and it just can fit into everything with that transparent background. So the other, Canva has a lot of opportunities. It's not the only design platform out there, but it certainly is a decent one that does have that free option. That's what I was kind of looking for to promote in here. I do pay maybe, I don't know how much I pay, maybe $100 a year for it, but I think it's worth it. It also saves your designs in here, but I love to do collages, and here's some of the, so here's like a couple of collages. And this is just done with the collage design, and if it ever comes up. And it's pretty easy. You just throw the stuff in there and you lay it out. It's that easy. These are easy, and this is doable. Anybody in this room could do this. Anybody could do this. And I do actually think this is a great one because it is totally free. And these are, when you see this Creative Commons, that means they're free for commercial use. So you have to be really careful with certain things. Make sure they have the Creative Commons. So it means that people have taken photos, or some of them are designs that are just images. Like if you want like some clip art that's kind of cute, you can do illustrations and put something in there. And then, so, you can that's kind of cute. Doesn't have anything to do with what I'm doing, but maybe it did, so you could go through these and just go, oh, this is great. Here's a nice happy rainbow, or, so I also have a couple other ones that I pay to use, but this one is one of my go-tos. Does anybody use this one? Yeah, I love it. Okay, I just put my wrong glasses on. I've got like 6 pair of glasses up here. Okay, so let's see where we're at. We talked about posting, and that's if you turn the page, I've got some things on here. Canva, Snappa, Spark Adobe, and Poster My Wall are a couple of free options that do all pretty much the same thing that Canva does. And then you've got your social media calendars in front of you, and basically what I wanted you to see was just kind of some examples of what you can do. And of course, those were for June and July. There's not a lot going on in June and July, but some months there's a lot of holidays. And if you go to, let me pull up a website for you guys that give you an example of how you can find holidays. So, go into, there's a ton of these out there, but it'll just give you all the holidays for January. Now these are more like traditional holidays. So I think it's called Holiday Insights. And you can go in, and it gives you some of the crazy ones. So you can actually go in and all the ones for May, and here's stuff coming up for June. You can just click on the month, which is, but anyway, this gives you, if you write down holidayinsights.com, it'll list you all the May holidays and all the June holidays, so you can work ahead of time. I like to work ahead of time. I like to work and have things done 2-3 months out if I can. If I want to go on vacation in July, I don't want to be worried about what I'm posting, and you want it done. Then you can always change it too. That's a question I get from a lot of people is, once you've posted something, no, you can always go in and change something. And so it's really easy to change it. So you go into your scheduled posts, you click on the post, and you go down here to remove it from the schedule or reschedule it. It's really easy. Or delete it. So super easy to do. Okay, so I like social media calendar. I cannot stress to you enough. So look at the different ones and see if any of them pertain to you. Not necessarily from these, but when you go to the holiday insights and the different ones and pull them. And I always tell people, don't ever forget just the regular ones like Memorial Day and Veterans Day and 4th of July. You know, there's so many times people don't even put things like that on there. Are you kidding? You know, we live in America, and you want to, you know, put that out there and promote that. Use your logo if you can. So I think it's important to you know, promote your logo. Like, so here's one that will be coming up. I guess it was posted May 18th. No, May 18th hasn't arrived yet. So May 18th is National Bike to Work Day. I mean, who knew that? I didn't know that, but I found it online, right? So this is an example of using hashtags, and then this is a realtor who wants to promote retirement. So what better way to do it? You know, this doesn't work anymore, but it's National Bike to Work. You know, I found this photo and then put it on there, put her little logo on the bottom of it. So something simple like that. Not too wordy, just to the point. That's how I want you to think about your hashtags, is maybe come up with one or two, and then, are you guys allowed to do that? Do you have creative with Habitat? What about you guys? Okay, good. Sometimes some of the organizations are so strict with things that you don't have that, so it's good that they let you do
I
that.
have a question. When you create the hashtag, you're creating a link as well.
Not really. I mean,
So, I mean, when somebody clicks on, when they see that hashtag, they're curious about that, and they click on it, nothing's gonna happen.
It'll pull up
other,
posts that have that same hashtag in it. But what if you're creating one from scratch that nobody's?
Right, and so we do hashtag Holston Habitat, because that's who we are. And so, on most of our posts, we'll put hashtag Holston Habitat, and they can click on that, and it'll pull up, you know. Or we'll have, like, we had Women Build Week last week. And
nice.
so we had hashtag Women Build, hashtag Build Strong. And so we use those, and so if you put on it, hashtag Women Build is all habitats, use that. But Build Strong was one that we did ourselves. So people could click on the Women Build and see not just what we did, but what other habitats were doing for Women Build. But if they did Build Strong, if they clicked on the hashtag Build Strong, they would see the posts that we did using that.
Yeah, but I like to use them on Facebook to tell part of your story. So you can create your own hashtag with that. Does that answer your question? You look
Well,
confused.
is it gonna ultimately tie to anything? I mean, if you do it for the very first time, it's not gonna go anywhere because you just
Right.
created.
It doesn't have to go anywhere. Let it be part of your story. Let it tell. So put your picture out there, and then put.
It's just the uniqueness of the topic.
Yeah, yeah. It'll draw their eye. So I just put coastal living up here with a hashtag, and because I didn't know, and I wanted to see what would come up, because that's one of the hashtags I use for the realtor in Georgia. I wanted to see who else uses it, so other stuff comes up, and it's not like, it's not like that big of a deal.
So if you clicked on the hashtag Sunday Scripture, for example, it would be like you searched it, kind of, and it would list all of your
Yeah.
Sunday Scriptures all in one place, rather than in the news feed.
That's a good example, yeah. Now, Facebook works a little bit different than like Twitter and Instagram. At least is the way it was a few months ago, and I don't think this has changed, but is that they have to be following you to be able to see that hashtag on there, to search it. So if I knew that you had a particular hashtag, I don't know, something, what did you say, you do oils or?
Herbs, oils, teas, and soaps.
Okay, so say if that was your hashtag, herbs, oils, teas, and soaps, and it's all one word, and I went and put that in there with the hashtag, if I'm not following you, it probably wouldn't come up, I don't think, but this kind of stuff just did come up, so
If it's public, I think.
if it's a public
So on
post.
your page, it would be public. Well,
Yeah,
that-
it's a lot different.
First, yeah.
Hashtags are a lot different on Facebook than they are with Twitter, and because it's more to do with telling your story versus something trending. So use it to tell your story. The other thing that you can do is if you don't want it to all be lowercase, if you truly want it to be part of your story. So what did you say, oils?
Herbs, oils, teas.
So you could do this, herbs, oils, teas,
And soaps.
oops.
Or you could just leave out the and stuff, whatever.
Well, is it teas?
Yes.
Okay. See, if you wanted to do that and do uppercase on certain words, that's okay too. That way you can, especially if you're doing a long one, you're shaking your head, because sometimes
You have to decipher what it says.
Yeah, and like-
It's 3 times to figure out what it's supposed to be.
exactly. And sometimes, like when I do a coastal living one, it is so hard because coastal ends with an L and then living starts with an L, and it looks like you've made a mistake when you're doing that. And probably should be capitalized, and that way it stands out. So think of that if you decide to do a hashtag on how you want it to look rather than be one. It kind of breaks it up a little bit and makes it easier because it's really just for me to look at it and kind of start branding your company with that. That makes sense? Don't worry about the searchability of it. Worry more about like being able to do a shorter post and be branding your company. Okay.
Cindy, someone had a question. Is there a certain site that you go to get she needs a copy of the social media calendar?
I just make my own up. I make my own social media calendar up based on like the holiday insights, and then from a regular calendar that's hanging on your wall and all the holidays, and then I throw them in there depending upon what client or company I'm working for. They're all going to have different social media calendars. The one that I do for the insurance company is going to be different than the one I do for the Boys and Girls Club, obviously, because their goals are a little bit different. But there's some of the holidays will be exactly the same, like 4th of July and Christmas and Thanksgiving, But
So can you search and say like when is Volunteer Appreciation Day or when?
well, that's what that Holiday Insights does. It'll give you all of that. It'll give you more than what you need. So in May, was it May or April? One of them was Volunteer Appreciation Month. Maybe it was April. And so Boys and Girls Club, we did a bunch of posts about the volunteer stuff, how much we appreciate our volunteers and things like that. But that came up when I did that Holiday Insights thing. It had it says, I just saw that open. It'll tell you the this month. No, that's not it. It'll tell you like the here we go. Bizarre and unique holidays. So you can actually go, okay, so this month we've got, May Day, Loyalty Day, Mother Goose Day, Save the Rhino Day, Baby Day, Brother Sister Day. Yeah. You can, you're not going to use all these, but it gives you a good idea. You can go through this. National Tourism Appreciation Day. There's certain companies that would use that, You would go through these and decide which ones you want to use for your company or your organization. Then you look on your other calendar, obviously, you've got your major holidays. So we're still looking at May. You go through May. And of course, Star Wars Day is a major holiday, so, but you go through this and decide which ones you want to use. And then you've got food holidays, so if anybody's a restaurant or anything like that, these are real important. But still, you can throw these in here and have fun with it. There's no reason you can't throw in National Ice Cream Day once in a while. Huh?
Pick Strawberries Day is Sunday.
Yeah, well, see, who knew that? And what about Escargot Day?
Yeah, we do that.
And a lot of it is not going to be important to you or your organization, but if you can find some of the fun ones and then go to Canva and maybe pull a design from something and then do it. So
Well, you can be creative too. Like you can really make a stretch touch sometimes, but I think when people, Facebook is more casual, and I think when people see that you're having fun too, I think that helps with followers. That
I hope
you're
everybody
not
just heard what
supposed
you
to-
just said.
You're not a stuffy business, you're not a stuffy group, you can have fun, you can, like Sweet Tea Day. We had a business drop off sweet teas as a donation to our construction volunteers. You get a picture of them drinking their
What
teas.
a great idea.
Thank you to this business for their tea on Sweet Tea Day.
Has nothing to do with
It has
Habitat
nothing
for
to do with
Humanity,
houses,
but you made it happen.
and it's a promotion, yeah. Well, and I do a calendar. See, this one hasn't been updated in a while, but.
Yeah, but
and I
you
include
get
all
it.
the weird meals and the weird stuff that has nothing to do with what we do.
Yeah,
But
so
to try to-
she is making
Just to try to
certain
fill it.
holidays work for them, which is kind of what you have to make it fit. You can't just be thinking, well, that has nothing to do with Habitat for Humanity, sweet tea, I can't use that. Yes, you can, have fun with it, and kind of be thinking out of the box a little bit with things like that. And you're exactly right, don't just post business, have fun with it once in a while. So every once in a while, you have to throw in there escargot day or whatever they do. Not,
Left-hander day, left-hand swing hammer.
I'm left-handed, so, yeah. Those are important holidays for me. But you know what I mean, that's a very good point. Thank you for saying that, because it's one of those things I can't stress enough. Having a hotel, so, tourism day, tourism week, those kind of things, you could have National Ice Cream Day, you could have ice cream in your lobby that day, and be promoting it on social media and just for some fun things like that. So you kind of have to be thinking a little bit, crazy too sometimes, and giving suggestions to people who are doing the posts for you if those, because you can do only so many posts about what you do or what your industry. I mean, how fun is manufacturing? Woo-hoo, I mean, you've got to. I have a manufacturing background, so I can say that. But you've got to kind of twist it up and keep it very industry related. However, throw something in there every once in a while. Are we out of time? Yes, we're almost out of time. So let's move along really quickly. We talked about putting your logo on the post, and I'll show you how easy that is. Adding some fun posts like National Cookie Day. And does anybody here use Facebook events for events? Okay. That's another great way. If once you get your Facebook going, I would encourage you to use your events. So for instance, I don't know if I've got any events on. Oh, I've got one on this one. The Boys and Girls Club. So you go in and you've got events in here that are past, but you just create an event right here. So what happens when you create an event is it locks that date in, and then it goes on the news feed for everybody who has followed your page. But if I come in and see the event, and then I hit that I'm going or I'm interested, at the very least, when you see an event, click that you're interested, because then it goes out to everybody that you're friends with, and it'll say, Cindy's interested in this event, so it plugs that event. And so if you're, especially for nonprofits that you support and that you like, if you see that they're doing an event, even if you're really not going to that event, at the very least, click interested in that event. It goes really far. And then people can actually click on the event, and they can buy tickets. Anybody done tickets through that? Have you done tickets on it?
We direct it to our website.
So, okay, that's,
It's good. You have to do it, be there.
yeah, but that's a great way to do it. So, so then you can, so like this is my personal thing that comes up where I've got Holy Friendship Summit that's coming up this weekend that I'm a volunteer for, and I hit going on here, and then that goes out to already to promote that event, and then people can click on it and see what it's about. Strawberry Festival in Unicoi, ooh, that's a great, that's one of my favorite things to go to. So I probably won't be able to go to it because I'm gonna be working the other event, but I put interested in it just to help promote that event. So that's the kind of thing that you can do. And you, as a person, when you go to events, all the events will come up that are kind of related. Your friends, people that you're friends with that have birthdays coming up, come up, which is helpful. And then all the, your events come up over here too.
I have a question about when you post an event. Like last year I got all confused on where I was posting in, like we have Wolfstock coming up, which is a big event that I do a lot of posts for. So I would put them on our page, and then I realized they weren't going in the event. So then I would have to go copy and paste that post over into the event.
You set it up as an event?
I set it up as an event, but then when I would just go to the Margaret Mitchell page, I just put it, so I was just posting it on our page, so it would go out to all the people. So
It does that. So if you want to post in the event, you have to go into the event, and then there's a discussion tab. You have to post it in the discussion tab for it to remain in that event page.
okay.
Otherwise, it will just, if you're just on your regular page.
Right, it just goes
posts
on.
there.
So that's
It doesn't
this
actually
year.
post in the event.
So this year, I've been posting in the event, but then it doesn't show up on the page.
What you can do, and, yeah, so you can create your event, then you can go and post on your page, but when you are typing your post on your page, you can tag your event.
Or share it.
You can do that, well, you can share it too, but you can do that @ and then type in the name of your event, and it'll pop up, you can click it, and there'll be a direct link to your event in that post on your page.
Okay.
And so it will kind of attach that there, so you can put your regular post, and if they want to see what the event is, they've got that direct, they can click on it, it'll take them directly to the event page. You can do it that way.
So this year, I've been posting in the event and then sharing it onto the page.
That's another way to do
But
it.
it's
That's
still
fine.
just an extra.
I know, I know.
I got myself all confused last year. I'm a
Don't let it confuse you. Just push through it. And then they'll change it again right when you figure it out, right? Okay, so ideas of what to post, photos of company events, quotes, like we talked about with the Motivational Mondays and Wednesday Wisdoms and Sunday Scriptures. Be sure to be in tune what's going on in the community and what the news is and positive things going on. Help promote charities. Any company awards or organizational awards are great to post. Pictures are valuable. Always post a picture. Promote new products or offerings that your company or organization has. Industry news, announcements, charity work. If your company is out in the community doing charity work, they're building a habitat home, that's an opportunity for you to kind of promote them as well as the good that you're doing out in your community. You'd be surprised at what people do, but they don't put it out there. And then I have companies say, well, I don't want people to know that we're doing all this stuff necessarily because then they're going to ask us to do more. Don't you know you can say no? Hello. You can just say, I'm sorry, we're tapped out for this year, but we'll keep you in mind for next year. You can do it politely, but don't be afraid. That's always good to be out in the community and to show it. Company promotions, that's another thing. When you have employees that are promoted at a management level, or even there's a page that I like to follow because it's actually manufacturing, but when they have accolades for, they've had someone there for 30 years or 25 years, they always post a photo of the guy or the gal, and I think that's really cool. I think that shows longevity, and it shows really good stuff. Fun holidays and national holidays, of course, and so those are just some ideas of some things. I'm going to go through these kind of quickly. And for your engagement, you can always hold a Facebook contest. You can do it on your own, or you can do it through Facebook because they have a way to do it. That's how they prefer to do it. You can give away something, a free spay or neuter or something like that. For people who new likes to your page or people who have shared it, and you just have to kind of keep up with it. It's a little bit of work on your end, but it is a way to get a organic type promotion on your page. You'd be surprised how far something like that would go. You can also, with you guys being in the animal industry, you could actually give away you know, a gift card for grooming or something like that too. Things like that go. But I would think the spay and neuter thing would be like huge, be very valuable. Okay. If you do run a contest, just run it for a short amount of time. I've seen contests that have been like for 3 months. Don't do that. It's too long. People get bored. People, you know, run it for just, you know, a week, 10 days, something like that, something pretty simple. And be sure to always, when you're running a page, ask your friends, your family members and stuff to like the page too. It's real easy. You go on there and it just says invite your friends. It's really easy. It's not like you have to actually physically ask them to do it, which is, you know, you just go to that page and everybody probably knows where that is, where you just say invite your friends. Does everybody know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Yeah, super easy to do. They make it easy for you. So for, and does everybody know this? Like when you like a page, you can go over here and follow, unfollow, see. So this is really important. This is something I tell people all the time. Just because someone like you doesn't mean they're following your feed. If somebody starts posting, I'll like a lot of pages, but it doesn't mean I'm following them. Because if they're posting too often about content that I don't care about, guess what happens? I unfollow them. I still like the page, but I'm not seeing anything. Does that add any value to you? Not really. Because only when it shows up in my news feed and I like it in my news feed, the actual post, does it add value to you. So be thinking about that your end user, what they might want to see. And a lot of us don't want to see 3 and 4 posts a day on just industry stuff. Now, if you just posted cute dog pictures all day long, I would follow you from here all the way, you know, but you know, just be thinking about that, you know, just because you're like, okay, I've got to promote my company, I've got to promote this organization, and da-da-da-da-da. If people unfollow you, it's not doing you any good. So if it's something, if you are running this page, make sure that you see your stuff first. That way, if anything happens or anybody comments or posts or does anything, you see it first. And that all posts are on. This is just you as an admin. Make sure you see everything. Now, I have comments turned off on most of my pages that I run. I don't know if anybody has them on. Do you have them on? Do you have them on? Do you ever have any issues with that? That's good. Most of them that I do, they're you know, we just you have to be careful. Reviews is another thing. I have a company that I had been running, and on my phone, all of a sudden, one Sunday, I got pinged that somebody had posted a bad review. And I was like, well, that's odd. So, and then another bad review, and then another bad review. It was like boom, 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 right in a row. I was like, okay, I was at home, so fortunately I could log into my computer. It wasn't just on my phone. And it was like one person had posted a bad review, and then someone with the same last name, and someone with the same last name. And so I actually sent a text message to the owner of the company, and I said, something's going on, you know, this is what's going on. And he said that employee got fired. And evidently their mother and their, you know, wife and everybody else is giving these bad reviews. So I hated to do it, but I didn't feel like I had any choice. I actually shut reviews down because you can't remove a bad review. So be really careful about that. I love good reviews, and we all love to give them when we can, but 2 or 3 bad reviews when this company had all really good ones really brought their ratings way down. So I had to completely remove and shut down reviews altogether for that. So just be mindful of that. But that's one of those things within your control. If you don't want reviews out there, you don't have to do it. But that's an example of somebody taking control over your stuff, you know, that was in a negative way. And there's people out there that are going to do this kind of stuff, unfortunately. But when you got your phone and you've got it connected and your settings are right, I was aware of it right away and was able to do something about it. So make sure you've got this set up correctly. And we've already talked about the clip art stuff and keep things short. So I think we're done. And unless you have any questions, and if you want you want to talk to me afterwards, I'm perfectly fine with that. And you do have my email address too. Yes.
Is there a means that we can have each other's contact information, that we can use this kind of as a networking session as well, that we can
That would,
perhaps like each other's pages and help one another out?
You all can exchange information with each other.
so just get business cards from everyone.
So you can't send all of us,
You,
that'd be easy.
sorry.
It's against
Can't do
the
that.
rules.
Yeah, it's against our rules.
Okay.
But you know what? If you've got a business card with you and you want to share it and give people business cards in here, feel free. I'm all about that. Especially any nonprofits, I think that, and if you don't have a business card, write down United Way and, Holston Habitat and stuff, so that when you go home, you can like their pages and follow them. And get their default, okay.
I have one question.
So,
Is it a hard one?
go ahead.
I hope not. I just made a Facebook page for my husband's painting company.
Okay,
Well,
maybe I might need his business card.
Right, something happened. All my real estate stuff is going to my page and his page. His page now has 40 houses on it that I had to take off.
You might have, should have left. Yeah, you've got it, you've got your settings wrong. You could be the admin on several pages. I mean, I'm the admin of like 10 different pages, so.
What have I done?
I
I
don't
don't
know.
want all my stuff.
I'd have to look
I think you go see how you logged in, because when you I did that. I had a different page that I was an admin for, but I had logged in on my own Facebook page and then gone over. to
Instead of
the
done
other
this?
page.
Instead of doing
And
this.
when I changed the password, thinking I was changing it for the other page, I actually had changed my personal page. And so that's probably what you've done, is you've logged in. If you are an admin for your husband's painting, you need to log in as that page, not your own page.
You know what she's saying?
So when I went to his page, I logged in with my,
No. When you pulled Facebook up, you pulled it up as your personal
Yeah,
login.
like this.
right.
Right.
And then you
so
go over to the side and
you
pull
just
up.
went over to his, but you were still logged in as you.
Okay.
So all your stuff went to his page.
Yes, it
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. We had constant contact next week, and we hope you can join us. Maybe it won't be so cold next week, Jennifer.
Or rainy.
It was not being hot, 'cause it was really
Hey,
hot
and
in
if you guys don't know anything about Constant Contact, I can definitely tell you that's a great thing to be on if you do mail. It's kind of like a MailChimp thing. It's a wonderful platform. So definitely consider coming to that class.
Yeah.
I'm not teaching it. I'm just promoting.
And if you all will share information, what we have to do is we have people agree whether or not we can share their information. We have them on MailChimp, so we're not really allowed to, but you all are, we would love for you all to start a networking group. We might even be able to, create some kind of new knowledge networking group.
Oh, I
which is a
like
good
that.
idea. Yeah, so thank you.
I like
Hope
that.
to see you next week.
Yeah, yeah.